Okay, my son has fled the room to go subscribe to this channel from our bedroom Apple TV. So at least he'll be watching. Here we go. We're going to. I need a sip of coffee already. My vocal cords are fried. Hopefully that's not making too terrible of a noise when I mute that mic. But you don't want to hear me sipping my coffee. Okay, let's install LotRO. The goal of this is to see. You know what? Let's go ahead and show. If we just Google LotRO install Hurin. Ta-da! This is an update of this forum post that I made a long time ago, going over all the problems that the standalone SSG installer has, the Steam installer. Let me say off the bat, today we're just going to be doing this. The Steam installer, I just don't recommend it. I might do an updated video on that as well, but it's just trouble all the way around, forever. And my thinking is always why I use Steam for when I need to, but when I don't need to, I don't. And you don't need it. You can just use the SSG standalone installer, which actually has fewer issues. Or at least the issues are easier to fix. I did a video on fixing the Steam installer issues. I did videos on all of these. Let's see, how many views does this have? Does it say up here? I think it's several, like 50,000 or some crazy number. Don't quote me on that. Anyways, we're still expecting problems, but hopefully fewer. Let's see if we can find the. If it's staring right at me, my apologies. But oh well, let's move on. Who cares how many times this has been viewed? But it's lots. Yes. My son is watching. Oh yeah, I see a viewer. I have a viewer. Okay, so here we go. We go to download, and we say PC download. And because I've already downloaded it, it should be in my downloads folder. So let's actually go to my downloads folder. There it is. Show in folder. All right, let's get this show on the road. So I should mention that there are already a couple of, basically all the problems with the installer come from it not installing quite enough DirectX runtimes and not quite enough Visual C++ runtimes. And my prior threads, the prior videos, those were intended to pre-install those so that the installation just goes smoothly. Here, we are on an absolute pristine Windows 11 install. I've done nothing but install drivers, and then there's another video you might want to check out where I kind of tweak the start menu and things like that. But in the taskbar to make it more like Windows 10. But other than that, everything is pristine. Now, NVIDIA Experience and some other drivers actually put in some Visual C++ stuff. So maybe that'll help SSG out here. But as you can see, it's going to install Microsoft DirectX 9. And that's normal. We want it all to go there. If you have an SSD, make sure you install it on the SSD. I can't imagine playing this game on what they call spinning Rust or a hard drive with spinning platters. You want electronic storage if you can. All right, create a desktop icon, sure. So there goes the 2005 and 2005 SP1 Service Pack 1 and the 2010 redistributables, allegedly. And then it's going to start the mass download. If only the install was that quick. I really wish SSG would update their installers so that, because what's going to happen, well, that wouldn't help. We would still have to do this, but we wouldn't have to do this, what's now happening, and then do a whole separate long period of patching. Now, I'm grateful and humbled to have gigabit connectivity So hopefully this won't go too slow. Let's actually, I really miss the ability to right click and say Task Manager, but it's over here now. Or it probably always was, but now I have to go there. And let's see here. Where's performance? You got to bear with me. Not only, oh, that's, we're almost getting full gigabit speeds, but it'll fluctuate up and down, but that's awesome. Whoop. And that's my stream going out, the sending. So as you can see, it's kind of going way, way up, and then it slows down. So let's make this smaller. Come on. Not that one. Oh, do. All right, we'll make this more reasonable. Put that in the corner. And so as you can see, we're not bad for almost 34 gigabytes. We're 10% through. Then the slower patching process will take place. Forgive me, I will be shifting these around because I'm, as I mentioned in a prior video, I'm experimenting on using an OLED TV as a monitor, and I just don't want to get burnt in. That's why I've got the taskbar hidden down here, and I'm just going to be shifting things around. It's not that easily burned in, but you know, it's new and fresh, and I'm being paranoid. So yeah, not bad, 20% already. I might actually be able to just ramble on through this. Yeah, don't use Steam. If you do use Steam, there's a video on my channel about troubleshooting that, and actually a lot of what we're going to be doing here will probably help as well. Steam has the same problems, just more severely is really the issue. Oh, my son has something to say. What do you want to say, bud? Nothing. All right. I think he's freaked out by the fact that his dad is live streaming. I was going to make this a more prepared video, you know, and just concise, boom, 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 this is what you do. But instead, I decided to just try we got a very low-end streaming setup here. We're just using NVIDIA Experience and my headset, which I think has a decent mic, but I believe when I mute it, it makes a terrible, like, squelching sound. Let's see. I'll have to come back and watch that. But yeah, I just did it. When I swing the boom up, it mutes. Okay, 30%. My son has run back off. So what I was starting to say, the Steam client, the Steam install, it just fails. If I recall, it just fails earlier or harder, but the same fixes apply. Just you install the Visual C++ runtimes, and you install the DirectX runtimes. When this gets fully installed, and we're going to try to run it, and we're going to see if it launches all the way into the game, and if it does, then we'll make sure we have DirectX 11 available to us, and if it does, there's no problems. I anticipate that it at least won't have DirectX 11 available to us, and then we'll have to go get the June. I'm now going to start recommending a different thing, the June redistributables. The final redistributable package of DirectX was called something like June 2010 DirectX redistributables, and that's the one I now recommend because it installs blindly. It doesn't run any type of logic that says, hey, do you have any DirectX installed? If so, I won't install. It's just going to go on top of whatever's there, which will not hurt your Windows install or your existing DirectX stuff. It's never been a problem. That's just, without going into too much detail, that's just not how it works. We're actually installing DirectX extensions, not replacing DirectX at all. So we're at 45%. While we wait, let's go ahead and see if we can find the install. I know somebody. Why am I back into this? Oh, my dog's barking. Why am I back into this? Because my daughter has started to play LotRO again because she's reading the books, and then she started to think, oh, it might be fun to try LotRO again. And then I thought, you know what? That's yeah. And then I went to install it, and I was like, I wonder. And then I checked out my thread, and I could not believe how I shouldn't say I couldn't believe it, but it's just kind of amazing that there's still no fix for these issues. I mean, these issues are now, the thread is 5 years old, and sorry, I can't read and talk at the same time. Oh, there it is. Install new LotRO installs. One guide to rule them all. I forgot it. Look at that. 152,000 views. I was lowballing it. So 15% of a million. So yeah, they have a problem with their installer. And this was written in 2017. And the issues predate that by years. Predate 2017 even by years. One other thing we'll probably go over while we're at it. Let's back all the way out, go down to tech support. I think one of my old ones is still sticky. Yeah, there's one I wrote. This is basically the solution to, I wish I could edit it. I can't edit it. I am banned from the forums, which is maybe something we'll go into someday. If I run out of things to talk about in this video, I don't think we'll bring it up now. This is supposed to be a helpful video. I received plenty of warnings. It's funny, I've been on both ends of it. I used to stick up for SSG when people were being unfair towards them. And then for the last several years, I walked that line of criticizing the business model and how it's undermining the game and the integrity of the game and things like that. And people would say, no, it isn't. And I would say, it kind of is because of X, Y, Z. And they'd go, no, can't possibly be true. And I'd say, okay, that's not really an argument. And then I would get dinged for arguing and fighting. It's more aggravating than that. Because if I went into the actual arguments, it would be like, how? Well, anyways, I got plenty of warnings, and to the credit of the community manager, I don't know whether it wouldn't hurt to mention his name, but I don't know. I just don't want to name names if that seems crappy. But the community manager. I got dinged when I would defend SSG if I got a little too frustrated finally in answering the same specious quote-unquote counter-arguments, and I use that term very loosely. And then when I was critical of SSG or the game or decisions being made, I would get dinged there too. So that whole thing was fair. I will say I did feel like I had a bit of a target on my back after years of being, shall we say, skeptical of the store. I mean, you can see right there, cool enough of the community manager there. Not a fan of the store. They let me have that title, which Olive Branch. I have not changed my videos or deleted them, or all the uploaded images that I've put up, like here, I've left those alone. I'm not gonna, it's fair. It's their website, it's their game. They don't want me around anymore. That's fine. I always felt a little weird being in their house, telling them that their business model is problematic, for lack of a better word. So eventually they gave me enough rope to hang myself, and I did so, and so I cannot make any additional contributions to the forum. Let's see if there's any other ones here on the first page that are my old ones. There we go. Game error 105, 128, DirectX 9 errors while alt-tabbing solution and workaround. I think this one might have been sticky at one point, but I haven't run into this in a while. But anyways, One of the reasons also, I think I burned a lot of, if you get X number of warnings before they finally just say, look, I'm seeing your name way too much. You're just too much effort. And, and I don't even want to say like, oh, maybe if he knew that I had posted all these helpful, he might have known, and they just don't care. This is an old one back when I helped out testing, getting the, how are we doing on the patching, by the way? Ooh, 93%. Man, I've managed to kill enough time to we're almost there. Johnny at Turbine contacted me, and we did testing and helped Creative come up with a patch that now no longer matters because, well, there's really no hardware OpenAL in the game anymore. Anyways, if you only get a certain number of get out of jail free cards from the community managers on a forum, you don't want to burn through too many of those, obviously, too quickly. And I feel like I burned through a lot because there was this one guy who would try to answer technical questions on the forums and just give the scary dangerous advice while demonstrating that he the old phrase, he knows enough to be dangerous. It was constantly advice that was bordering on people are going to be trashing their systems if they listen to what they're being told to do. And I would point it out. And then that guy would come back at me and say, oh, you just... and I'm like, no, look, dude. And then it got contentious. And so it just turned... So I get warnings for, and I would always try to keep it cordial. But you can only come up with facts and evidence so many times and just have other people say, you're like, okay, but still X, Y, and Z. Well, okay. And then you basically say in as nice a way as possible, I don't think you're grasping the situation, and that's an insult. Now you're, quote, fighting and arguing, and you get dinged, and et cetera, et cetera. So, anyways, here we go. We are now in the patching phase. We've downloaded the bulk of the last point-in-time release, the last time they've, just dumped out a new client. And now it's going to go and contact the patch servers. And here's some more Visual C++ redistributables. And now it's going to go contact the patch servers and start downloading the patches kind of incrementally, a little slower. See, it's coming down a lot different. It's coming down differently. And this shouldn't be that long, though, I don't think. Oh my gosh, even my son has left. There's no more people viewing. I didn't expect, obviously, anyone to be viewing this, but it's fun. I'm just kind of goofing around with this. And then when this is all done, maybe there'll be a I'll have a more concise, curated upload that shows the how to prep your computer for the LotRO install, so that you don't run into any trouble and you don't need to worry about what we're about to experience. And hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this will just install. If it does, though, I suspect it's because I shouldn't guess. Let's just see how it goes. I'm wondering if it's kind of cool that my old videos have are still towards the top of the heap in the tech support forum, so that's nice. Yeah. Oh, now how do I get Johnny at Turbine there? That should be Hurin. Hurin of Doromen. All right. Well, how much time do I have to kill here? What can we talk about? Oh, I've got a viewer again. I don't know who that is. It's got to be one of my kids. Yeah, I got to figure out a way to view the live comments and things like that. I need to set up like a side console or something like that if I end up doing this. So what I'm actually thinking about doing is, since my daughter's playing again, and I have dabbled in playing a bit more, I'm thinking maybe what we should do is have a live stream of an hour every night where I just start from the beginning. Obviously, we'll have this install done. Um, and then, like, I'll create a new account. We'll see how that goes. I will create my first character. We'll see how that goes. And then I will just kind of point out, this is how things have changed. I guess I don't want to say the way I think it's supposed to be said, but the bona fides, my bona fides for as a LotRO player, I was oh my gosh, 2 viewers. What is happening? So I started playing LotRO as a beta tester in 2007, got my lifetime account, bought my wife a lifetime account, so I have 2 lifetime accounts now because my wife doesn't play or didn't play for more than, not long after. You think that playing with your then girlfriend, or was she my fiance at the time, that's going to be the best thing ever? It is not. I mean, if your significant other is into gaming, I think it could be awesome. But if they're not, you just kind of feel like you're remote controlling another player by your voice, because there's not a lot of, let's go with a Tolkien reference here. It's like the Nolgrim, the dwarves, when when Aule built, created them, but they didn't have free will yet. They only moved when his will was upon them. And then, of course, Ilúvatar gave them free will and a soul and a spirit of their own when he agreed to let them come into Arda, or remain in Arda, but would not awaken before the firstborn, the elves, right? So that's kind of what it was like to play LotRO with my wife. Unless my will was upon her, there was not a lot of. So, anyways, eventually that second account became mine. So, yeah, I'm very fortunate to have 2 lifetime accounts, and I will tell SSG right now, if you want them, just if I could trade those accounts in for a return to a subscription model or something more resembling a subscription model, that would be awesome. I would go for that in a heartbeat. Obviously, that's a pipe dream. That's never going to happen. But anyways, pardon the static while I mute here and take a sip of coffee. Four viewers. I actually got a little nervous. Like, oh my God, there's an audience now. What do I say? And then they heard me, throwing shade at my wife's computer gaming prowess, and immediately fled. So we're back down to 2 live viewers now. So yeah, we're gonna be into the fun part here any second. 99. Oh no, silly me. This is what needs to get to 100%. So where was I? Okay, so I've been playing since 2006 or 7 when the beta was out, and so I just remember the way the game was, and I just feel like we've lost so much. And I remember when the culture of the game was more. I mean, I was into computer games. I've been into computer games my whole life, but I've also been huge into Tolkien my whole life. So I feel like I was straddling that line between, not only is this a computer game, but it's Tolkien, it's Lord of the Rings. Well, I'm actually partial to the Silmarillion, but I guess where I'm getting at is, when the game first came out, it was, hey, here's a compelling, fun experience that we have designed. Pay us a subscription in order to play it. That's what everyone was used to. And there was a culture around gaming that understood that there are limitations to what you can do in a game. There are you don't want I win buttons. You don't want to be super powered. You want to earn what you get, and so when so that's when I used to be kind of, I guess you would say, white knighting for then Turbine. People would come into the forums and say, "Oh, the combat's too slow," or "Moria's too dark," or things that It's like, well, yeah, that's what makes the game interesting and challenging, and and you. The great part was you knew that the mountains you had to climb were that steep because the people deciding how steep the mountain was going to be had no other motivation other than to make a compelling gaming experience, right? Um, and unfortunately, you know what, this is, I'm right into all the stuff I used. I'm trying to kill this time here. Um, anyways, that's no longer the case. When you leave the subscription model, you're now in a situation where every time you see that you need to kill 300 salamanders, you say, would that be 100 salamanders if they weren't trying to get me to just buy this virtue I'm trying to level up right now? Or, you know, anyways, that's a topic for another day. What I was getting at, though, is I just wanted to live stream the opening phases of the game just to kind of see, like, if I recall the last time I created a new character, the first few minutes of the game are just like, what is that? You know, if you weren't familiar with the game, it's like, cosmetics, okay. And then this tip pops up, and it's like, oh, okay. Well, there are no legendary items that early in the game, but you know what I mean. Like, just game system after game system after game system after game system just pummels you, and I've got to believe that that's got to be very intimidating for a new player. Again, pipe dream, it'll never happen, but part of me feels like they just need to. They've got almost all of Middle Earth now in map form in the game. Just wipe the contents of the game. And I know Made of Lions and the lore, and they've done such a good job with the epic stories and things like that. So this is tongue in cheek, but I mean, it just seems like they need to simplify, 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 and go back to basics with this game. Remove the mounted combat system and just so many other systems that are now just vestigial at best. And anyways, of course, what the layperson, and you know, I'm not a software developer, but my career, so to speak, is in IT. So I'm familiar. You would think, oh yeah, let's just remove the what did I say, the mounted combat system. Well, you can't just in a game as complex, or any software as complex as this, you can't just excise things like that and expect the rest of the application to function normally. Uh, you know, there are tendrils probably going into the mounted combat system from elsewhere in the game, from other systems and features, and it is probably reaching out to other things, although that wouldn't be as damaging, obviously. But anyways, I have 0 viewers now. Even my own children have abandoned me. I would too. I don't blame them. So let's see. We are still at only 55%. I'm beginning to doubt the accuracy of that number there. So hopefully it'll be done sooner than that. So what else? I think I need to sip on some coffee, and I'm going to take a quick break here, and we'll come back in a minute. You know what? You know what grinds my gears? That's a terrible Peter Griffin impression. Okay, so no, I'm not going to try anymore. But I was just thinking of one of the things that came up while I was setting up my daughter's client and the Quest tracker. That's a perfect example of, like, every time there's change to the game, they they make an effort to make it quote unquote optional, right? And so the Quest tracker, or the Quest, the little thing on the compass that points you directly to the objective of your quest and then points you directly back to return it. That was not there for the first few years of the game. I want to say maybe the first 5 years of the game. And the quests, the verbiage that came with the quest, the bestower would actually give you detailed instructions. Head north along the road, and then when you see the copse of trees, go to the west, and against the mountains you should find, etc., right? And so then I guess that was too tough. So they put in this compass guide and said it's optional. You can turn it off though. And it's like, you know what? I believe if it's not too pompous, I stand vindicated. They no longer write detailed instruction. The verbiage that comes from the quest bestowers now assumes you are using that compass, and you have no hope of finding anything for the quest in most. There we go. For most, like I said, that was not an accurate estimate for most quests, and there was one in particular. Oh my goodness! It was down in Gondor, towards the end of the Gondor era. You were supposed to go throughout Gondor to find these 5 items, and there were no hints whatsoever in the text. You just had to use the map and the compass, and it's like, there was no way to do it without that. That's just been the case with a lot of these, easy buttons that they've put into the game that aren't optional anymore. You have to use the easy buttons because the choices are no. It used to be, hey, a little bit challenging, you have to do a little thinking, or here's your easy button. Well, the former has been obliterated, and now it's use the easy button, or it's pretty much impossible. So that's been unfortunate. Let's see, what else? What else have I noticed since I've been back? The game is still beautiful. The game is still, technically it shows its age. The textures aren't wonderful, but just the style of it and the wide open environments and things. The coffee is not keeping the throat pipes able to speak here very well. Let's see. You know what I miss? I miss classes being meaningful. Like, all the way from like if you were a hunter, one of the best things about being a hunter was that you could port your friends around. Back when the game was more multiplayer than it is today, but if you all wanted to go do something, well, first of all, you had to go to wherever you were going to adventure. Oh, we're ready to go. Okay, rant off. So I am not going to type a password in there because I actually can just close this again. And let's close everything out here. And I have a shortcut with the password built in. And I believe this is the one I want. Hopefully this will work. Oh, yes. Okay, so it's going to do its thing. And not work. Come on, you. There we go. All right. Anytime it gets interrupted at all, to install, or then those embedded passwords don't work. So when we push play, we should be asked if we want the 6 gigabytes, right? Oh, well, we got to approve this. And Okay, well, there you go. It's crashing silently to desktop. Or no, it's not. Oh, see, I gotta be more patient. So we'll say yes. This is, wait, it's detecting it's capable of DirectX. This thing might run out of the box, in which case I owe the humblest apology to SSG. They might have fixed their stuff. We'll allow access. And we'll come back down here.
Our worst fears have come to pass.
And here we are. And everything is likely working. What do you know? They did it! Their installer works. You know, I don't want to be crappy and say it's possible also that the Visual C++ prerequisites for NVIDIA experience and stuff might have helped, because I'm just shocked that DirectX 11 is working, to be honest. That's been the key that has not worked in the past. So they might have fixed it. It wasn't working just like a year ago, so it was between a year ago and now. So, I stand corrected. There is no problem as far as I can tell here, but let's actually get all the way into the game. Let's see here. Give me a second. My daughter wants to say something. Okay, so this is how I always set the game up. Normally I'd put this to the native resolution. Oh, you know what? Let's turn down audio because it's probably drowning me out a bit. How about that? Autofer. All right, so back to graphics. I usually just do this. Go and say Ultra, because pretty much any recent computer can handle Ultra nowadays. For LotRO. It's CPU bound mostly, not video card bound. I am a bit of a computer gaming snob. I still build a new computer gaming rig every 2 or 3 years, and then I play 15-year-old games on it. So, so forgive me if that's snobby, and maybe it's not true if you're playing on a really old laptop or something like that. But generally, I just throw it to extra high, ultra high. We're already in DirectX 11. We're in full screen. I could put this to native 4K, which by the way is not 4096, it's 3840. But just to keep things legible and not have to scale anything, I'm going to leave it at this. Aspect ratio to auto, anti-aliasing, and then I put that to 8. And immediately things start looking much better. And then let's see, audio. Let's see. Now here's what I was mentioning, OpenAL soft on VSX. This is going out to my, oh, that was in a prior video. I need to upload that. But that's what's going to give me the surround sound. Really, I think we're all set. Let's get into the game. So yeah, this is kind of eating crow live on the internet with 2 viewers. Although I intend to leave this hosted, it works now. Maybe we should go do Steam instead and see how well Steam works. But of course, I need to nuke this build of Windows first, because they all use the same prerequisites. So whatever made it so that the standalone SSG installer works great is would also make the Steam installer work great. So anyways, yeah, this is working. Let's see if I can Alt-Tab without it airing. Yeah. Alt-Tab works. We're going to go to windowed mode, and that works. And we are good to go. So, again, my apologies to SSG for doubting them. You know, nothing matters whenever you're listening to anyone say certain things, and what is the phrase? Nothing before the but really matters. What they really mean comes after the but. So I hope this doesn't sound like this, but I hope I'll be forgiven for doubting them, considering how many years that installer was making it so DirectX 11 wasn't available out of the box, or it would crash silently to the desktop. And I suspect the Steam one might still be doing it, but maybe it's crapping me to assume that, considering I was assuming this wasn't going to work. So, anyways, you get the idea here. This is working. If I were British, I would say it's working a treat. What can we do? Let's go and look at the. I'm curious about that error not coming up. That 135 error not coming up anymore. I'm wondering if maybe the user preferences now does something to keep that from happening. And then I think we're just going to wrap this up. That's my username. Hurin free. Let's see. Gotta be very careful to not have allow desktop compositing. There it is. Oh, but wait, no, we used to set that to false, I believe, to fix that error. Force fake full screen. Yeah, there were these two, fake and allow fake full screen. Those were the ones that used to fix that issue. And that issue just appears to be gone now. So SSG has been fixing stuff. Good for them. Congratulations. And I humbly apologize for not giving them the benefit of the doubt. Here's that little crappy aside. After all these years, they did fix it. I wonder why people are still running into problems, though. I mean, just recently on that thread. Let's see here. Hopefully you can't hear my daughter too clearly in the background. Let's see. I mean, this was just in August that people were still having this problem. There's comments on the videos saying that it's still a problem. So something else is afoot. Or maybe it's Steam. So, well, let me trash this build and get it back to having nothing except Windows 11 on it, and we'll try Steam, I guess, is the next live stream. Because there's no point really in me doing a new video of how to avoid the issue when the installer seems to have done the job just fine. Maybe it's worth just going and looking at the and no, I don't normally keep my credentials in a text file on my computer. That was temporary for this profile that I use to stream. That would not be very secure. So let's look at installed apps. So you can see that these were installed by LotRO, and I believe these were too, and those were installed by the NVIDIA Experience software. So it's a strong if there's still a problem that SSG hasn't solved, I didn't stumble across it because these two things. Notice that this is the Microsoft Visual C++ 2015-2019 redistributable x64 and then x86. Those were installed, I believe, by NVIDIA Experience. I took a glance in here before I did anything. So you can download those yourself. Just Google. Always be careful when you're Googling, but let's go and just type it all out. C++. And there we go. And just, read the domain that you're going to. We're at Learn Microsoft. That is, that should do. We don't want that one, do we? Let's see what this goes to. Yeah, x64. Oh, that's cool. It is just a big bulk of them. So you'd want to get both the x86, here it comes, and the x64. Run those and install them, obviously with LotRO closed. And then the other thing that you always wanted to get, notice we didn't have to mess around with .NET at all. That's nice. It doesn't prompt for it or anything. So if you want to type in DirectX June 2010, and that says red list, not redist. Let's just leave it at DirectX June 2010. DirectX user runtimes June 2010. This is at www.microsoft. Y'all know how to read a URL, right? Like www.ihackyou.com/Microsoft/DirectX/I am safe That's not helpful out here. It's all about what's at the beginning, right? So I worry that I'm going to send people off to go get pwned. So here we are, DirectX end user runtimes June 2010, and we download that. So I suspect that's all. Those are the three big things you would install. Well, and the 2005 and 2010 ones, etc. That would have gotten a broken install running according to the thread. I wish I could edit that thread. Listen to the beginning of the video or earlier in the video for why I can't edit it or keep it updated. Install those versions too, and it should run. If it doesn't run, you've got a gummed up system in some other way. I guess the last thing I'll kind of go off on here before I sign off is everything in computing is designed to work according to standards. And, DirectX is an API that software games are written to, like towards. They are written to that DirectX standard. And then the drivers for your video card are written to implement DirectX. So I guess the way of putting it is like anytime I see somebody just with this horrific or horrendous issue on the forums, I wish I could fly out to their house, take their computer, back it up, wipe it completely clean so that it's not a brick. There's a certain term for it, but I just like to say it's a brick. You turn it on and then you'll just get the BIOS. It won't boot into Windows or anything. Just wipe it completely clean, put Windows on it from a clean install the device drivers, and then install these, and then install LotRO. See if it runs. If it doesn't run, install these prerequisites that may or may not have been installed, and then it should run. And that, I don't want to say always fixes it, but it always fixes it. If it doesn't fix it, then there's something fundamentally wrong. But I mean, how could anything else be wrong if you've installed Windows from scratch and you've installed all the drivers and so it almost always fixes it. If it doesn't fix it, then you got to start looking into things like, well, maybe my video card is just so old, it just won't run with LotRO. I believe they announced a couple years ago that they're no longer supporting like integrated Intel video anymore. Correct me if I'm wrong, and don't take that to the bank. I could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure that's the case. So that's what you would be doing if we had run into any trouble here, is just downloading the... let's go back to my thread. Is it still back here somewhere? If you recall way back in the day, I had and these links are dead, and I can't update them. But, the DirectX web installer, as I said earlier, I now recommend that 2010 redistributable instead of that web installer. And then these were the ones that you absolutely needed back then. But now that's no longer the case. I'm sorry, you probably still do need these, or they've actually updated it and they make use of those 2015 to 2022 ones. Did they install the 2005 still? Yeah, they do. So they must still need them, or they're installing them even if they don't need them. And 2010. Okay. So, sorry, we're piecing this together as we go here. That's about it. The only other thing I'd caution you guys, remember after you install LotRO that you will want to go to Windows Updates, Settings, Windows Update, and go to Advanced, and make sure that you're also receiving updates for other Microsoft products, because you will get updates now. You'll want updates for those Visual C++ runtimes. So without that turned on, you will not be getting any security updates for those. You might actually see some come across here. I think I'm gonna sign off, even though I have a new record of 6 viewers. I'm touched. So thank you guys for tuning in. I might be streaming a No, yeah, there, security update for Visual C++ 2010. So it's worth turning that on. Keep things secure. So I might be streaming an hour of LotRO a night, starting from the beginning, creating an account, seeing how well that works. Seeing it, I have to approach LotRO with a technical angle, or I get too bitter about all the changes to the game that I haven't liked over the last 15 years. But I still enjoy making it work and helping people get it to work. And if there's anything I miss about being on the forums, it's that. If you go back, those who are just joining us, if you go back in the video while we were waiting for it to download, I went through some of the old threads of stickied and unstickied technical help that we've done. Well, I don't know. I sounds egotistical. Anyways, I really appreciate you guys popping through. If you made a comment, I am not able to see them right now. I need to set up a little side computer where I will catch the live comments and things like that. I hope those don't disappear into the ether. I'm new to streaming, that's for sure. And it's a very low budget affair at this point. So I might wipe this thing and start a Steam install. I just don't know if I have it in me today. And then yeah, subscribe, stay tuned, and we'll see if we can get some other content up, because this is kind of fun. My gosh, there's 7 now. I just kind of want to keep rambling here and see what happens. But that doesn't seem fair to you, because I am out of content. Maybe if I join the stream myself, right? So let's see. Maybe I could see the comments. YouTube.com. Hurin's LotRO Tech Tips. If you have any questions, maybe I could... Oh my gosh, there it is. Live stream offline, though. Huh. All right. Are we not live? We gotta be live, because I see people... Ah, there we go. I'm easily confused, people. So let's see. Oh, wait, there's going to be recursion here. I gotta turn sound off. All right, let's take a look at the comments here. I just randomly clicked on this recommended live stream because I can't install LotRO on my Win 11. Oh, that's great. Well, I hope this helps. Drop a comment on this video when it's done, and I'll work with you to get it working. Don't work for people. There are plenty who just install and have no issues. You know, Harvain, I honestly think in the past the reason for that is because so many games and so much software used to install the DirectX runtimes, the full package, and the Visual C++ runtimes. That by the time they then got around to installing LotRO, all the prerequisites were there, so it just worked for a lot of people. But if you are starting it fresh, and if you're starting it fresh, you know, from a clean slate, a fresh install of Windows, you don't have beneficial cruft built up from months or years of using it, then it just doesn't work. And people are like, well, it worked before. And ironically, your computer is too new or too pristine and too clean to get LotRO to work. So yeah, usually it's almost always a lack of the prerequisites. And the problem was that the installer did not install them. And I'm feeling so sheepish now because apparently it worked this time. I did these experiments back in the day when I made the original videos and demonstrated not live back then, but that it did not work. It was definitely skipping stuff. So let's see here. It's about Steam. Steam is what gives people issues. No idea why. I've never once had an issue with Steam, and the LotRO launcher actually years back had more issues. Yeah, I mean, it's... I'd have to review my videos about what... Oh, wow, look, we've got a recursion maelstrom here going back and back and back and back. This is going to hurt my brain. So anyways, unless somebody wants to throw any more questions in the live chat, I'm going to wrap this up, and I'm hoping I don't know. I just want to experiment with this channel and see. It might become Hurin's LotRO tech and shenanigans, and not just tips on stuff. Although, what was it I wanted to go over? There was something that I anticipate a lot of LotRO players to have an issue with, and I was like, ooh, that'd be a quick, good one to go over. But if I think about it, I'll throw it up here. So no one's throwing anything in chat, so I'm gonna go, and I really appreciate those of you who showed up. And I mean, showed up. It's not like this was scheduled, so I'm amazed that anyone saw this live. I assumed I'd be broadcasting to my kids who popped in and out, and then it would just be just another video stored on the site or on the channel. So, okay, thank you very much, and I will see you all later. Thank you very much.